We'll follow that with the pledge to the flag. Heavenly Father, we just come before you today to thank you for this day you've given us. And Lord, as we come through this season of Thanksgiving, there's just so many things that we are thankful for. And Lord, we know that all those things, good things, come from you. Lord, most of all, the salvation afforded us through your Son, Jesus Christ. We're thankful for that most of all. Lord, we just ask you to lead us and guide us in this meeting today. The things that we say and do in this place would be pleasing in your sight, and Lord, would be beneficial to this community. And we ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Gentlemen, you see, we have some guests with us today, and our guest and item number one, which is discussion of the Extension Office right of first refusal option on the property where the old fire department kind of go hand in hand. So Jason, if you want to come on up. If y'all recall, there was an agreement, I guess, in place with the county and the Extension Office for a right of first refusal on that property, and that right of first refusal was extended for a 5-year period in 2021. We've got the agreement, which I think basically the agreement is, and Counselor, correct me if I'm wrong here, basically the agreement is if someone comes and offers us, like we want to sell the property, we first have to notify the Extension Office the first right of refusal, whether they want to purchase it, or if we decide that we're going to sell it or do something with it, they have the first option. Of course, the Extension Office has some plans for what they could do there at that property, and I think, Jason, that's what you want to talk to us about today,
yes,
right?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, first off, I want to say thanks for allowing us to be here this morning. We're appreciative. I want to be super mindful of your time. That's why I've jotted down most of my thoughts so I don't get too long-winded. There's a good bit of history.
If you see me go like this, you know we're hitting the time limit.
It's time to cut it off. Well, that wouldn't be the first time, Judge, that I've gotten the hook. But you know, I'm here on behalf of the Simpson County Extension District Board, as well as the Simpson County Extension Service, and like you said, I'd like to discuss that property that's located at 105 East Washington Street. It's the old fire station. Just a little bit of brief history to let you know what I know about the piece of property. The property contains 19/100ths of an acre and was purchased jointly by the City of Franklin and Simpson County, with each having 50% interest for a total sum of $28,000 in 1986. On September 19th of 2000, a deed of conveyance was recorded in which the City of Franklin conveyed all of the rights, title, and interest of the aforementioned property to Simpson County. In 2017, Simpson County Fiscal Court entered into an agreement allowing the Simpson County Extension Service the right of first refusal, like you said, renewable every 5 years. At that point in time, the reason the court cited for retaining ownership in 2017 instead of conveying the ownership to the Extension District Board at that time was not having anywhere to house the fire department items that are currently stored in that building. Later on, the facility maintenance supervisor position was created by the county and placed in that building as well. This right of first refusal was then renewed, as you said, in 2021. The reason the previous court originally entered into this agreement and helped the Extension Office to expand in the downtown area is due to the desire of the court and local stakeholders to keep the Extension Office centrally located in the county for ease of access for all clientele. Around 2012 and 2013, the Extension Service had really considered purchasing properties outside of town on the bypass in order to have room to expand to meet future clientele or to meet clientele needs. The Extension Service would eventually opt to stay downtown after efforts were made by the court to create space for future expansion. So the reason I'm here, or our objectives are, that the long-term plan for over 10 years has been to construct a meeting room that will have the ability to seat at least 150 people, banquet style, so that would be at a table, demonstration kitchen areas, and also feature new technologies for all types of meetings, presentations, and media, as well as men's and women's restrooms in that facility. When it was determined that the Extension Office would have the ability to expand in the current location, a rendering was done of what the meeting room would look like. As you can see in the rendering, which is in your packet, and I think this was included, well, this was the only sheet that was not included in the portal. So this would be the very last sheet of your packet.
I think we had it.
Okay, I think you had all of them, but maybe that one.
Well, yeah, I don't think we had that very last sheet.
Okay, yeah, so if you'll look at the last sheet, as you can see in the rendering, at the time, it was strongly, if you look and see where 31W is located, that's one reason I wanted to hand that out to you all. You can see that it was actually strongly considered to construct the meeting room on 31W, where the farmers market now sits. However, the district board felt like, and we were all in agreement, that the farmers market would greatly benefit from the visibility, of course, of being on 31W. And the reason that it was moved to begin with was because it ended up behind Moyer's Auto Sales. So, we didn't want to put it then back off the road again. So, so they adjusted their plan for the meeting room, the future meeting room, to hopefully be located at this 105 East Washington lot. The Extension District Board purchased a non-buildable lot just this last year in 2023 behind State Farm Insurance in order to have additional parking upon completion of the building project. Much thought and long-term planning has gone into the whole deal. The Extension District Board voted unanimously in October to pursue asking the court to exercise the right of first refusal that is stated at $1 in the existing agreement. The board feels that based on current funding levels, that a meeting room could be constructed within the next 4 years, give or take. There are no intentions whatsoever to raise tax rates to do so. Extension has the smallest tax rate on your tax bill by a considerable margin at 2 cents per $100 of assessed value. In complete transparency, we are in an old building. Just want to throw that out there. So the Extension District Board spent $25,000 on the exterior of the building this year and $38,000 on the interior, all in an effort to combat water issues in the basement. So we do have some costs that do come up from time to time that are sometimes significant. However, we do feel like we've addressed those issues, which we've been dealing with in my entire 20 years. Building is the best place to be. If a tornado comes through, probably the worst in a flood, but that's a side note. As you can see in the minutes, the board also made a motion that would let the Simpson County Fire Department and the county maintenance supervisor continue to use the building for up to 2 years. The Extension District Board would assume utilities and property insurance. Once the property is obtained, the county would need to insure their own tenants. This also passed unanimously. Kind of in closing, there's a shortage of meeting space in our community, and the availability of what is out there is very slim. There are also limitations when using technology with almost all of these locations. Our current meeting room, while we're definitely gracious and appreciative of what we have, is small and down steep stairs, so it's not handicap accessible. We utilize every single inch of our building. A new ADA compliant ground level meeting room would provide an opportunity for the Extension Service to expand our programming efforts and host multi-county programs. This would make for less travel for those participating and encourage additional participation from our local folks. Extension programs are available for all Simpson County residents. Our office offers 4-H youth development, agriculture and natural resources, which includes horticulture, and family and consumer sciences, and all of our agents have a responsibility of community and economic development. Every single person in Simpson County can take advantage of the credible research-based information and programs offered by the University of Kentucky at the Simpson County Cooperative Extension Service, and we feel like we could definitely offer more opportunities more effectively if we were able to construct this facility for our Simpson County residents to utilize. On behalf of the Extension District Board and the Extension Service, we would ask that the court try to help us to continue to build upon and expand the services, programs, and educational opportunities that we can offer here in Simpson County by working towards exercising this right of first refusal. And just want to say thanks for all that you all do, and really appreciative of your time. This is sort of the final puzzle piece in trying to be able to really offer, a full gamut of programs here locally. It seems like in a time when everything is getting outsourced, we can sort of be a hub, and folks won't have to travel to multi-county meetings out of county. We can host those here. And so I think it would be a great asset to our downtown area and to our folks here in Simpson County. And so appreciate our board members that are here, and appreciate you all, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say to all you guys is I don't get to make every single meeting, but I make most of the monthly extension office meetings, and I know that the Extension Service has done a tremendous job getting the old post office to be a usable building, because there were lots of water issues, lots of problems that over the past, 4 years probably, there's been different things done over the last 4 years that have really made that building better. So I just want to make sure that I understand kind of the request, because my opinion is if I understand the request, I don't see any reason that we cannot make that happen. So the request is the 2-year period. Y'all would really, here we are at the end of 24, so a 2-year, so like you would really like to have possession of the property by January 1 of 27.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I don't see, we will have to do something to relocate the maintenance office and tools and equipment. I think we can do something to work that out. Obviously, it'll cost us a little more than $1 to make the move, and we'll only lose $27,999, but that's over a period of time. Who's counting money? No, I'm saying that people watch this. I'm just kidding. We were glad to have the extension off. I think this will be great. I think it would really be great. I have no opposition in going with this. If we have that 2-year time period,
yes, sir,
you're wanting to take possession of the property by January of 27, I think we can make something work.
I'm fine.
Well, it was presented to them, because I was on the court at that time, so it was presented as it's called a first right of refusal, but it was presented to them as, when you all get ready for this,
yeah,
you can have it. It wasn't like, it's pretty much this is the agreement that the court made. And another thing is, by you being in that old post office, that's a historical building, is that correct?
Yes, it
and
is.
So it really, there isn't anything you can do with that building. You
can't expand it.
You can't destroy it, because it's a historical building. So by them utilizing that space and that building is an asset to the community too. So.
And I will say this: if you have not been inside the extension office,
nice.
It's much, much nicer than it was just a few years ago. So they've done a lot with it.
We've pretty well reached our, I mean, you know, we're going to continue to keep it looking good, but we've reached the ceiling of being able to, I mean, when I say we've used every single inch, I mean, we really have, and spent a good bit of money making it where it meets our clientele needs as best that we possibly can, but we've done a lot over the last 4 or 5
So
years.
Jason, will this building be maybe available to nonprofit?
Yes, so I anticipated that question might come up, and I have sort of the meeting room policies of the Warren County Extension Office. In no way would this facility be relying upon income from people renting it. You know, we would utilize it, and nonprofit organizations will utilize it. It would also be available to businesses, agribusinesses, things like that, to host meetings. Do not anticipate hosting personal events like birthday parties and stuff like that in there.
Right.
But it would be a community building, not just for extension, but, you know, nonprofit organizations could certainly utilize it as well, and businesses.
Okay.
Sort of a tiered system. But Warren County, I've got their meeting room policies, and I feel like they're pretty solid, and that's basically what it says.
It's absolutely something this community needs, I believe, so.
And I guess, Counselor, since the agreement we have is for 5 years from December 7th of 21, that this agreement technically expires December 7th of 26. Although they wouldn't take possession until January of 27, do we just need to actually have an agreement and just have it signed and done, stipulating that they would have possession of the building January 1, 2027?
You can. I think at this point, the issue is just conveying the property to them. If we have to be out of there, you know, in 2 years, I think what you do is once you've cleared everything out, there's nothing to prevent you from going on and conveying the property.
Okay.
I think you can make a motion to, you know, move, to sell it pursuant to this agreement, and
With them having possession on or before January 1, 27?
yeah, and then at that point, that's the will of the fiscal court, and then hopefully it won't take the full 2 years to clear out the place and find other places to locate the equipment
The only one sweating I see is the fire chief.
and the maintenance person, but my point is,
Chief, you'll have to put a lot of stuff in your building out there.
What's that?
Have you got some extra space in your building out there?
No, not at all.
Well, you need to find some.
but I mean,
That's what I want to talk to you about.
so anyway, you know,
We
cross.
vote on it, let's, you know.
But I mean, then at that point, you just prepare a deed and convey the property to them.
Now, if,
I don't think
this
there's-
motion that you've made here at your meeting, it sounds like you're wanting possession now, and then you're gonna pay the property insurance and all on the property. That's just the way it sounds to me, like you're wanting to go ahead and get the possession of the building, but you give the county 2 years in the building.
That was kind of the way that it was, I mean, but of course, we're willing to be flexible, I'm sure, but yeah,
But if we keep the building for up until that time, you don't have to pay the property insurance on it.
right.
But it
So-
can still be, it will be yours at that time.
Okay, yeah, and either way would be, you know, would be totally, I'm sure would appease the board,
Right, right.
yeah.
Yeah, and let the counselor weigh in on this. I think the simplest, cleanest way would be, we would make a motion and vote today to allow the extension office to exercise the right of refusal and have possession of the building on or before January 1 of 27. And whenever we get our stuff cleaned out, then we just convey the property to you. We maintain everything about it up to that point.
Sure.
Once we get to where we convey the property, then it would be on the extension office to
At which time, whenever that may be in that time span, that would be, you know, of course, at that time, we would assume the, you know,
Yeah,
all the
once you got the
costs.
deed, it's your baby to ride.
Right, exactly,
And if
exactly.
somebody on that board owned a storage warehouse, we might could get that stuff out there quicker.
I can't imagine who that's directed to,
He might want to speak, I don't know.
or not.
No, he said no. But Chief, you want to address the equipment? I mean, it would be good for the court to have kind of an idea of what all you
Well,
have to.
Judge, he's got a dog in the fight, Judge.
I was saying, before we boot us out of here, I think you guys need to understand, we do have equipment there that we use, that we do need immediately available on an emergency response. I would have it at the station, but, I mean, if you've not been there, come there. Look, it is absolutely packed, and especially when we added on folks, we had to remodel, we lost even more space. There is no more storage space. Cannot stress that enough. So these things they're not items that I want to leave outside. You know, our rescue boats, things like that, I do not want to have to leave outside. And again, I do remember when they conveyed that property, you know, years and years ago, or not conveyed the property, but worked the deal. But my concern is we don't have a plan for us, and I don't know about the maintenance department, but, you know, so I would encourage us to let's think about this before we,
Yeah.
you know.
That's the whole point of 2 years. That
Yeah.
hopefully
Yeah, we'll
we
have a
can.
plan.
I think we can make it happen in two. We wouldn't just boot your equipment to the outdoor.
No, I understand that, but,
And I don't know,
We'll keep it out at Jason's place, and you can have a key to his garage.
yeah, there you go.
I don't know, with that property, where the fire department's at now, it's not in the county's name, correct?
No, it's
Nope.
not.
So if
I mean-
maybe we could talk to the city about.
Yeah, I
getting
mean,
that
I would love to have a building out there. but
There's room.
I understand the county not wanting to build a building on the city's property. I mean, I wouldn't do it
There's
either.
room to do one if the county had that property. We could put a building up there.
Okay, so maybe we need to talk, that's one option. Another option, I mean, we've got other areas in the community that we could build a storage, and it might be the same plan as what we have now, the maintenance supervisor there and the storage for the fire.
And it may be,
But
but
that's-
again, I just, you know,
Right, that's 3 bays down there,
that
right?
conversation, we need to make, at least commit that is absolutely going to happen before we
Yeah. but
just
I agree-
sign this
I agree
property
with-
away and, you know, we lose.
I think Myron said this, I think you did. If you didn't, let me know, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. But I think in a 2-year time frame, we can get it figured
We'll
out.
come up with,
We can get it.
Yeah.
All right.
I tell you what,
We're not going to kick you to the curb.
If it'll make you feel better, we'll put that in, I'll put it in the motion.
There you go. Thank you.
To make a motion to convey this property, the whole fire department, to the extension office.
On or before
On
January?
for, January 1 of '27, and that the county will build a sufficient storage facility for the fire department,
And
the items at
and
the fire
maintenance.
department and the maintenance department.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Sydney, have you got all that? She'll get it. All right. We have a motion on the floor, gentlemen.
second.
We got a second by Scott. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Any opposed? Jason, board members, it looks like y'all have an old fire department coming. Yeah, we
You have
appreciate
one
what
on
y'all
before
do
the
too in the community.
27.
Yep.
But that right of refusal ends on, so does this take precedence
Yeah,
over that
yeah,
right of
well,
refusal?
yeah.
Okay.
Because like Counselor said, this just goes down recorded as the will of the court, which would supersede, I guess, the agreement, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And, you know, January 1 of '27,
Be here for
none
you.
of us may be sitting here, so.
That's true.
See you, Dave.
Y'all have a good day.
You're welcome.
Yes. Lynn, it's good to see you.
See y'all.
All
You don't want
right.
to stay, Jason, for the rest of the meeting?
He's busy.
All right, gentlemen, the minutes of our November 19th regular court meeting, we need a motion and a second to approve those minutes as presented.
So moved.
Got a motion by Jeffrey,
Second.
second by Myron. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Next will be second reading and final passage of budget amendment number 2, ordinance number 220.260. I need a motion and a second to authorize that ordinance.
So moved.
Got a motion by Scott?
Second.
Second, I heard Myron first. Second by Myron. So Sydney, we'll do a roll call on the ordinance.
Poston,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Burr,
Yes.
Chandler,
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes. And next, gentlemen, is another second reading and final passage of a lighting agreement ordinance number 310.31. Again, this is the Windsor Park, Section 3, Phase 2. I need a motion and a second to authorize the second reading and passage of that ordinance.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty,
Second.
second by Scott. Any question or discussion? Sydney, again, we'll do a roll call.
Chandler,
Yes.
Poston,
Yes.
Burr,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes. Next, we're going to have the counselor weigh in here a little bit because he reviewed this 911 interlocal agreement. It's on your portal. It's the Simpson County ILA 2024. I think we sent it to you, Sam. You back that everything looked to be in order and as it should be.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of those where the option is, do the contract or
Do it yourself.
do it yourself, and I don't think we're really in a position to do it ourselves, but, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's the contract, and we're gonna have to pay for it, so, I mean, everything else appears to be standard stuff.
Does it say, and I'm sure it does, the length of this?
It renews annually, I think.
Yes.
And there is a 30-day opt-out
Right.
for either side.
Yes,
But, I mean, that price, do they change, is there like a set amount that goes up every year, or does it stay that price, or do they just?
They just send us the new price annually as they send a renewal.
right.
They don't, it's not like the waste contract where it follows a consumer price index. It doesn't.
Of course, it's,
Oh,
It'll
is it 2
expire
years?
June 30 of 2026.
I
but,
stand corrected, it's a 2 year.
but that's the thing, but I mean, of course, the solid waste, that's a much longer term, and that's why they figure in a means to try to increase it over time before, instead of locking it in for so
Can we
many
put in
years.
there, we'll pay them when they get our radios working?
We could.
If only.
The one thing I will say, and I have no way or reason to dispute this, they claim that anytime they make a change in the cost of operation, they are only covering the actual cost to operate. I mean,
Yeah, well, we got the notice before they sent the interlocal agreement about them waiving their admin fees.
Yeah.
It was like $39,000, and so they had amended that amount to, and this is the correct amount, because I checked it this
Yeah.
morning to make sure.
This is still probably a third of what it would be if we were trying to do our
Oh,
own.
gosh.
Oh, yeah, you don't want, I mean,
I talked to the judges in Logan and Allen County both, who still, each county do they're budgeting $700,000 and $800,000 a year.
I mean, there was a reason we did this, because it was going to cost 7 figures. Our existing system at the time was hopelessly antiquated. It was fine at the time we implemented it, but it was antiquated, and to get it up to where it needed to be, as I recall, was 7 figures was the estimate, and that was just an estimate. And
And that was just for equipment, that wouldn't operate.
yeah, I mean, that wouldn't operate. That was just to get the equipment. And it was well, you and I were around then, Marty, but
Yes.
it was the smart thing to do. I mean, obviously, the fact you are kind of hostage to KSP on this, but I still think it's preferable to the alternative, as the judge said.
Did we ever get any numbers on calls?
Yes.
No.
It comes on the
Yes.
invoice every time.
It does now.
They
They're putting
credit it on the
invoice.
invoice.
Well, maybe all that hell raising did some good.
Yeah. So we do finally get that.
Well, I don't see if we got much choice. I'll move to approve.
All right, so we got a motion by, and Marty, if part of your motion authorize the judge to sign the agreement?
Yes.
All right, so we got a motion by Marty,
Second.
second by Myron. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed? Next, gentlemen, you see on the portal, I got the email from Michaela about a text amendment that the Planning and Zoning Commission had approved and wanted to know if she needed to send this on to the county attorney to create an ordinance, and then had the question too about where the fiscal court stands as far as the previous text amendment regarding the medical cannabis. So all of that is included here. I brought y'all a copy this morning. I'm a little confused by the way some of this works and how this has all transpired over the last few years. And the four that I brought y'all copies of, in my emails, everything's archived that's older than August of 23. So I could only go back about 14 months. But in those periods, there's 4 different text amendments that's been presented to planning and zoning that go to planning and zoning without any discussion or knowledge of the fiscal court. Now, I bring that up to say this. In years past, unless I misunderstand, and Carter, you're here, if you need to answer or have an answer or whatever, you're welcome to come up and give an answer. But in years past, typically, if there was changes to the wording of our planning and zoning regulations that either the city or the county desired to make, the governing body would typically reach out to the other governing body and say, hey, here's something we intend to change. What is y'all's thoughts and feelings about this? And then it would go to the Planning and Zoning Commission as presented by the governing bodies that this is something we would like changed. And then both bodies would approve it. We've been told now that the city can do things that are just specific to inside the city limits, and the county can do things that are specific to outside the city limits, but that doesn't appear to be the case either with the comprehensive plan and other text amendments that's gone on. So simply a text amendment would be if something is being changed, like in, for instance, this one here, or I guess the petitioner, and the lady's name.
Ms. Williams?
Yes, had asked about running a daycare at a home daycare. I'm assuming where she lives is outside the city limits.
Flat Rock Road,
So,
Ag Zone.
yeah, so what I don't understand is when she came, I guess I don't understand when she came to the Planning and Zoning Commission to request this, why a text amendment was prepared and sent to the Planning and Zoning without any discussion with the fiscal court, where that text amendment generated from. I don't know, but that's what it's about. And you'll see, and I've got it highlighted on, I think, on your portal and on the board, like the sections that are being changed, 8.23.B, let's see. Yeah. 8.23B, 8.25 paragraph 1, 8.13 heading, 8.13.2, 8.16.3, double D, double E, double F, and double G, and then all of section 9 are all text amendments to the current planning and zoning regulations. And of course, section 9 all deals with the cannabis. So it's simply when a text amendment is when basically the text of a regulation is being changed or altered in some way. The planning and zoning will recommend a text amendment. I have lost out on the comprehension or understanding of why that it's not being discussed back and forth across the street. And the only thing I can say to that is this. If we as a governing body were recommending that we change something in the planning and zoning regulations, even if the change that we were requesting would only happen outside the city limits, I would feel like we should notify the city that here's what we intend to do. We're not getting that.
Who at planning has only come up with this medical cannabis text amendment?
Well, it was done.
Yeah.
Technically, I didn't know about the bill that the governor was fixing to sign. And apparently the governor had signed it. And I got a copy of the bill, and I was requested by the city to take a look at this and apply zoning to this, of which I did. I submitted it back. They did their thing and read over it, and I assumed that they'd been conversing with Sam on it, and basically what they did was requested that I adjust a few things, which I did, and then they said, okay, then you go through your process. Well, I did. I met with the commission. I went through the details of it and read it out loud to them, and suggested they consider going to a public hearing to do a text amendment. That's kind of what we went through, the routine of the text amendment for the cannabis. We went through the public hearing. Nobody showed, as always, and it was affirmed and recommended. At that time, the city prepared, I think, a ordinance for it. I think they had the second reading here last week, I believe it was. At that which time, once I get a copy of that ordinance, I go about putting it in there. Now, I didn't know what the county's position on it was.
We didn't have a position.
Yeah, we didn't have a position, and one of these in here, 8.23, I guess it is, that's a conditional use in an ag zone. How many ag zones are inside the city limits?
There's several.
Okay, well, how many are outside the city limits?
There's a lot more.
So would you not think it would be nice to at least notify us?
You putting it in my position to do that?
The city did. The city put you in a position of changing all this.
The city put me in a position to change all that, and then ordered me to go to a public hearing with the process.
But yeah,
That's
I would
what
think
I
you would
did.
be in a position of saying, I'm changing something and
I would
it's
like to
outside the
think
city
in a
limits.
perfect world that the two governments would talk amongst each other on it.
That would be nice in a perfect world.
Yeah, that would be.
Well, it would be nice, and here's the thing I can assure you of. If the county was requesting something to be changed, I would absolutely notify the city. I would feel like it's incumbent upon the city to do the same, but it's not happening.
I'm not hearing,
Yeah.
in that capacity, though.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm just saying, we don't have knowledge that the request is being made. The person that's making the request should be conveying that message. It's not happening.
I understand.
So I guess the question at hand for us today would be, Sam, on this change to, well, a lot of questions. One is the change on the daycare in the ag zone. If we're good with that, then we do need to get that in some type of ordinance form for the county. But I think probably what we need to do is take some time to read this cannabis section 9 and let you review that to see where.
And the woman that's asking for the daycare's in my district, and I have talked to her several times. I visited her with her at her house, and I'm fine with doing it because there's other daycares in the county that's already doing it. It just needs to be.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. It just needs to be ordinance form.
That's right.
But the cannabis part, and I do believe this, I do believe for areas outside the city limits that we do need to establish by ordinance where the certain licenses could be applicable or where they could do it. And I think if we do restrict those to ag or industrial zones, depending on whether you're growing or processing or whatever you're doing, and then the dispensaries to a B5, I mean, you're greatly going to restrict where it will happen outside the city limits. But I think I would rather, Sam, you can take a copy of that ordinance. I would rather you take their ordinance and look at it and then read over that section 9.
Has this already passed planning and zoning?
Yeah, we did a public hearing on it.
Okay, well, if it's already passed planning and zoning, just like the comprehensive plan passed planning and zoning, we didn't have anything to say about that.
Yeah, I guess,
So are we
I guess
gonna
in
be
90 days, it just happens.
Are we going to be able to change this? If we feel like there's a change in here that needs to be made. This is the first time I've seen it.
Well, I don't think the 90 days has passed on this, so we still have
Okay.
time to act on this.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I hadn't done anything on the book until I get the go-ahead that it's passed ordinance from the city. And those affected areas all I got to do is adjust whatever y'all want to add to it or take away for the county. I've got that all through my book.
Is there
But
anything we
we
can
have
do
been
to?
told, and you have told us, that if the city passes it, it only happens inside the city limits, not outside.
That's the way I look at it.
But
yeah.
but apparently that is not the case.
Is there anything, a text amendment we can send saying the process needs to be the city notifies the county or the county notifies the city, then planning and zoning is notified. Right now, it seems like planning and zoning is being notified and then they notify the county.
Well, I mean,
And we're not having a whole lot of say
you know,
in this.
well, there are text amendments that I've done in the past that are attributed strictly to that governing body. It affects them directly, such as, if y'all recall, back a couple of years ago, we did one where the mobile homes in a county that needed upgrades were allowed to do if conditional use had been issued for that mobile home in the past. And I've done several upgrades since that time.
Right, but the city was aware we were requesting that.
I assume they were aware.
Yeah, I made them
Yeah.
aware.
So, but it's attributed strictly to the county because we don't do any conditional uses on mobile homes in the city. They go to an R5 zone, period. So it's kind of cut and dry at that point. Of course, I understand that because I've been doing it so long, but I guess my point is it's not outlined in there. The only thing that's outlined attributed directly to the city is the zone R1S. It's only available in the city.
So this most recent text amendment was passed at the planning and zoning meeting in
November 19th.
November 19th of '24. So the 90 days would be December, February.
And it's just a recommendation.
Yeah, so we've got, I mean, the 90-day period is through February. I would suggest that we let the counselor look over this ordinance and that section 9, and then we'll.
Have you already got the text prepared?
It's right here.
I
It should be in there.
don't see the,
Here, it's here.
Can we go on and do the ordinance for the daycare today?
Well, I mean, we can't have, he'll have to prepare an
I'll have to
ordinance.
prepare, that's what I
the
mean.
zone change ordinance? Is
Yeah.
what you're talking about? Okay. I've not received any zone change requests to my knowledge concerning that daycare.
Well, what I can do,
You wouldn't
Michaela's
see-
request
You wouldn't
was to
see a
forward
zone
this on
change
to you.
request for that. It
Okay.
would be under a conditional use.
Okay, well then,
Michaela's request was, do she forward this on to you? I will have her forward this on to you.
well, usually I don't get involved in conditional use permits.
Yeah, but it's a text amendment
It's a
to
text
allow
amendment
for
to
a
the
conditional
planning and zoning
use.
regs.
Okay.
Because it's over in the text of the regulations. I mean, here's cannabis added as a conditional use in it. But you go down to, well, somewhere in here.
It's under the A, I think. Where it's in there.
Maybe the only thing I have is the cannabis.
Highlighted, there's the original text, 823. This is missing right now as we speak.
Okay.
This is what's proposed to be installed.
But we can't change that except by ordinance.
Okay.
So I can have Michaela forward you that information, and we can
Thank
get an
you,
ordinance together for the daycare.
Okay, as I said,
And then I think we all need to review this cannabis stuff and try to figure out what we do with that and what kind of ordinance we make with the cannabis.
I think we need to review the whole process because
I do too.
I don't personally have anything wrong, I don't see anything wrong with the daycare that they're talking about.
No.
But if it was something that the county had a problem with, the planning and zoning's done passed it, then it comes to the county and then the county says, no, you can't do that. The whole process is backwards. The county, the county needs to be notified and the city needs to be notified of these before it goes to planning and zoning to make sure that it's okay with both bodies. Because right now, I was in the dark on that.
Well, that's the way it all used to work up till about 2 years ago.
Yeah. So I don't know what we need to do to change that.
I'll try to reach out to the city and see if I can get a response. I'm usually very slow, if ever, getting a response.
The last text amendment that we did that was, and I say this because it was a rush, I got a call one night to hold a special called meeting for a public hearing for a text amendment for adult entertainment and
That would be
cell
number
tower.
5 that I wasn't aware of.
And we did that inside of 30 days. Now, the requester was city government. The mayor called me at that time. I salute the flag when I get those calls. I make arrangements and we do this. I don't ask what, why, how. Eventually I get to read that and I begin to understand what it's about. So anything that comes before y'all will be a recommendation from this point on. And when I turn it over as a recommendation, I expect to get a denial on it or response. That's what I'll do from here on out. If it doesn't affect you, then I need to get some kind of illustration it doesn't affect you.
That's fair.
Fair enough?
That's fair enough.
When they're generated, they get generated from the public, fiscal court, or the city of Franklin. Some of them may be exclusive to one particular zone that's exclusive to the city only. So I live in a world that I have to go by what I have at that point and make decisions to set them up, because we do have time periods when we put out an agenda that we have to stay on task with that agenda.
But we do not have city planning and zoning regs and county planning and zoning regs. We only have Franklin Simpson planning and zoning regs.
I have one book that says Franklin Simpson Planning and Zoning, okay? That book has details in there. And some of those details are exclusive to the city, such as sewer, okay? There are other details in there that I know are attributed to the county. We don't have an R5 zone in the county anywhere. We have independent conditional use permits that were allowed up till 2019, of which we stopped issuing conditional uses. However, the reg that the board has used all that time for these mobile homes, it's still in the book because the regulation, I didn't get a request to remove the amendment that was in there. You could start tomorrow using that same rule, but it's still there, and it's kind of a very versatile rule. I disagree with it being in there, but I don't want to go through the hassle of having to do a text amendment. I started this process with Ms. Williams in September. And this stuff about government's wheels turning slow, that's crazy. There's no reason for that to turn slow like it does, but it does. So I'm just saying that when I get a request, I'm going to hand deliver it to the body that I think don't know anything about it. And then I'm going to take it off my desk at that point until I get a notification. And if somebody from the public comes to see me, I'm going to send them to where I sent it to. Fair enough?
That's the current world I live in.
Yep.
Thank you for your time.
I don't know what's
Anything
going
else?
on.
Gentlemen, do y'all have a problem with Michaela sending this information to Sam to do an ordinance on the daycare amendment?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
All right. I will have her send that, Sam, so we can get that part. I do think we need to review the cannabis stuff a little bit. Sam, you've got that ordinance and that information there.
You gave me the ordinance regarding the cannabis. You want it back?
No, I need my page with my notes on it.
Okay. I don't think I have that.
My agenda page with the notes was laying right up here in front of me, and now it's gone. Wait a minute.
Do you send it to the counselor to review?
I don't think I'll give him that to review. Ah, here we go. All right. Okay, we will get that. Do y'all all want a copy of that ordinance also?
Yeah, they need to look at it.
Okay, all right. I will send out a copy.
The marijuana?
Yeah, the cannabis ordinance.
We've already got it.
Is it on here?
We already got it.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we
they got it.
We got it, yeah.
It's on your portal too.
Okay, I'll have to look and see.
Okay. All right, next, budget transfers. We need a motion and a second to approve the budget transfers.
So moved.
Got a motion by Marty, a second by Myron. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Next, bills and claims. We'd need a motion and a second to approve the bills and claims as presented.
So moved.
Got a motion by Jeffrey,
Second.
second by Scott. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, moving on to reports. I did receive an email November 26th from Robbie Smith, the account manager with Motorola. And he says in his email that after our meeting last week, I reached out to our management and service teams to ask if we could start the clock on the warranty period from the time the project goes live. In pretty short order, we got confirmation that we could start the clock on the warranty period from the time the new system goes live. I also double-checked, it is a 7-year essential service warranty on the new Next radios. And so they have in an email agreed to that. I guess I'm sharing that with y'all, but also I have a question, Counselor. Do I need to reach back out to him and say, could we have some kind of written agreement stating such?
Yes.
Okay. I would assume that was your answer, but I wanted to double check. But in premise, in theory, they've agreed to do that, which I think is the right thing to do. Next, the surplus auction went live yesterday. I guess people are bidding on stuff. I don't know. The auction runs from December 2nd to December 12th. Tomorrow is preview day. So for the public that's interested in bidding, tomorrow at the County Maintenance Barn on Kenneth Utley Drive, you'll be able to go out and take a preview of all the items that's up for auction.
Is it just one day, or is it?
The preview is just one day, so, but it's all day long tomorrow. So you can go out and look, you can start a vehicle. You can't, we're not gonna let them drive them off the lot though. You can start it and hear it run, but you can't drive it and take it anywhere.
I got this thing cheap.
Yeah, so that's happening. The city did send back an email that they did agree to have a joint executive session meeting for that Monday, January 6th of 2025. It'll just be a joint executive session. I assume it'll be right here. I'll confirm that.
What time was
What
that
time?
again?
It was noon. We talked about it being at noon.
Okay.
And Jeff's bringing lunch for everybody.
On January 6th.
What state?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
And then finally, we're through Thanksgiving, into the Christmas holiday season, so this Saturday's all the small town Christmas events start happening downtown. We should have had Kim talk about some of that while she was here with the Extension office. But Kim Roberts with Renaissance, they've done a great job with all the people that help her get things decorated. It's all shaping up and looking nice. And all the activities start Saturday at 1 o'clock. And then the Christmas parade will be this Saturday at 5 o'clock, and then at 6:30 will be the magnet. Usually we light the Christmas tree. This year we're going to light the courthouse. So
Is that a fiscal court deal?
it's an official court deal.
Fiscal court, we all gonna gather to like to.
Yeah. I mean, y'all going to be there?
Yeah.
You going to be there? Yeah,
I'll be there.
yeah.
Lights don't burn, I won't be here.
Mine better be there, so when one of them don't work.
So you can scamper up on the roof and get them going fixed.
Move that squirrel up.
Yeah, squirrel, yeah.
Yeah. Well, one thing about it, Myron, we'll get you close to the door. If we hit that button and they don't light up, we'll just let you sneak inside real quick.
Good deal, good deal.
But, yeah, it should be fun. Should be a fun day. All right. Byron, do you have anything?
No report.
Scott?
No, sir.
Jeffrey?
Today, from 3 to 7 is the library's Christmas thing, so all the kids in Simpson County come see Santa at the library.
All right. Marty?
One thing we left out, or I think you might have left it out in your report, is the lights at the park. If you haven't gone through the park, it's really nice. Everybody, Lisa and all the people at the park, and I'm sure the inmates helped with it, and they did a really good job with it, and it looks really good. So, free event. Lisa told me, I went out for the sponsor night, and she said there's some people that come every night because the kids will swap from one seat to the other seat, so they can see the lights better. So.
And they're doing it, it's going Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every weekend till December 20th.
And I'm not sure.
And then it's every night up to Christmas.
There's one weekend, is there one or two weekends they're going to do ice skating?
I think
But I don't remember what weekend it is.
Huh? The 19th? Okay.
You going ice skating on the 19th?
Absolutely not. I don't believe I won't pay my medical bill.
I would be the adult holding the rail, moving around.
I don't even think I'd do that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I hope everybody is safe and stays warm. That's all I got.
All right, Counselor?
I just want to echo what Jeffrey said. Today is the Christmas Family Fun Night at the afternoon, evening at the library. They've been doing it for many years now. Take kids to see Santa. There'll be food. There'll be crafts. Every child gets a book to take home with them, get pictures taken. Doesn't cost people anything. It's just a service they provide for the families of this community. You don't have to have a library card. All you got to do is just show up. So please take advantage of this.
I don't know why he promotes that library so much.
It's in the blood.
Mr. Clerk, you have anything? Sheriff? Jailer? John, you have anything with building inspections? Paul, anything with maintenance? Bob, anything with OEM? Chief, anything with the fire department? Bobby, anything with the road department? All right, I just need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Got a motion by Marty, a second by Jeffrey. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right.